You might have spent this very coin at a coffee shop or arcade without a second glance. But what if I told you that a simple 1996 Washington quarter, common in every spare change jar, could actually be worth thousands? Hidden within the humdrum are rare minting errors, off-metal strikes, and unforeseen anomalies that have rocked the coin-collecting world. In 1996, the United States marked its bicentennial spirit with the annual Washington quarter struck at Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver D, and San Francisco as proofs. Over 500 million of these coins were struck for circulation, ordinary, everyday currency. But even in a sea of sameness, a few have diverged into greatness. Let's begin with the silver planchet era. In the mid-90s, the mint tested molds and alloys for collectors and foreign contracts, leaving behind a handful of silver planchets mistakenly fed into the circulation presses. One such coin, discovered by a teenager in his change, looked normal until he tapped it. The high-pitched ring caught his ear. After grading as MS-66 on a genuine 90% silver planchet, it sold for an astonishing $26,000. The unexpected ring was its first giveaway, revealing its secret. Then there's the off-metal foreign planchet, coin struck on blanks intended for another country, but that slipped through quality control. A rare 1996 P quarter came back with a slightly thinner profile and a different alloy sheen. Under light, the eagle's feathers gleamed oddly. After authentication, it commanded $15,200 at auction. The planchet was simply wrong, but perfect for collectors. But perhaps most stunning is the double die obverse error. It happens when a die gets impressed twice with slight misalignment, an echo effect frozen into the design. On a rare 1996 D quarter, Liberty showed a ghost image. The date digits echoed behind the original impressions, and even the motto, "In God We Trust," teased the eye with a shadow. One MS-67 example sold for $33,500. You look at it, rub your finger across the lettering, and suddenly, a $100 coin transforms into a collector's gem. Errors didn't stop there. The introduction of mirror-finished eyes for San Francisco proof sets led to proof-like circulating strikes. These coins display ghostly mirror surfaces and frosted details, proof-like enough to stun collectors. One such 1996 proof-like quarter, found in change, graded PR-68, and sold for $18,100. It shimmered like a gem in a sea of dull coins. Don't forget mint mark irregularities. In Denver that year, a handful of quarters carried a repunch D, tiny, clear ghost D marks lingering just off the original. Those familiar only to collectors can fetch premium prices even at lower grades. One WRD graded 1996 DRPM brought $9,800 for a few millimeters of misplacement. And yes, off-center errors appeared too. Misfed blanks produced quarters where up to 20% of the eagle, or even part of Washington's face, was missing. A pristine 15% off-center 1996 quarter sold recently for $12,600. The detail was razor-sharp, the alignment just wrong enough, but dramatic enough to mesmerize a coin room. But how do these mistakes happen in one of the most automated mint systems on Earth? With millions of coins minted by massive presses, tiny variations, like stray planchets, slight die shifts, or lingering test dies, can induce slip-through. Each error is a frozen moment of imperfection that collectors prize. These discoveries don't happen in vaults. They happen in snack machines, coin rolls, drawers, and change jars. One collector found a silver-ringing 1996 quarter at a laundromat. Another discovered a mirror-like, proof-like example after an arcade jackpot. Another spotted a ghost shadow date under 10x magnification, and his life changed with a whisper of thous. Curiosity beats gold detectors. It's what turns a handful of change into potential treasure. Seasoned collectors share similar advice. Trust your instincts, don't ignore subtle differences, and always examine your change more than once. So, if you have 1996 Washington quarters, pause. Here's your checklist. First, listen, lightly tap it. Does it ring sweet? Silver fractures differently than clad. Second, magnify. Use a loop, 10x, and study letters. Are the edges crisp? Do you see ghost marks on 92, Liberty, or the motto? Doubling is your first key. Third, weigh if possible. Standard quarters should weigh 5.67 grams. A heavier silver planchet or lighter foreign blank is worth saving. Fourth, inspect for mirror effects. Fly it under light. If surfaces flicker like a mirror, you might be holding a proof like. Fifth, check mint marks. Is the D clear? Or does it echo with a ghost punch? RPMs are subtle but valuable. Sixth, look at the edges. Off-center strikes are dramatic, but small shifts are equally interesting if the quality is high. If your coin feels or looks different, don't clean it. Place it in a coin flip or soft sleeve. Photograph it from multiple angles under bright light. Then, submit it for grading with PCGS, NGC, or Annex. Grading costs money, but certification elevates the coin's status and value. Because a story preserved in metal is worth more than a story told. It becomes evidence, rock-solid proof that history bent, the system faltered, perfection wavered. A young collector once told me. I tapped it, saw the ring, saw the doubling, and thought, this is it. His story ended with 6 figures for a rare silver proof-like 1996 quarter. It felt impossible and exactly real. He said, that's the magic of coins. One moment, one anomaly, and suddenly a humble quarter becomes a portal to a minting error, a historical slip, a place where machine precision met human fallibility. That's why collections matter, and why moments like these define numismatics. Oh, here's your call to action. Empty your coin jar. Pull out every 1996 quarter. Lay them on a table. Lightly tap, magnify, weigh, and shine. Feel the cold metal. Watch for ghost letters. Look for mirror shine. If something seems amiss, don't discard it. Save it. Have it authenticated, because that moment could be the difference between 25 cents and thousands of dollars. But more importantly, it's the difference between ignoring history and holding in your hand that don't spend that pocket change without a second thought. Listen, look, and let the whisper of a minting mistake reveal itself, one quarter at a time. That unassuming 1974 Washington quarter in your pocket could be worth thousands. Yes, thousands for mistakes, anomalies, or unusual planchets, so rare they're the holy grail for collectors. We're about to uncover the secret lives of ordinary quarters and reveal why a few slipped through the mint's quality control and why they now command extraordinary prices. Imagine the year 1974. America's bicentennial warmth was on the horizon. Cool soft rock filled the air, and the Kiss Army was touring stadiums. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint stamped out nearly 300 million Washington quarters at Philadelphia and Denver that year. Clad coins composed of copper and nickel, fit for pocket change and laundry machines. These coins were not meant for vaults. They were meant to vanish. But perfection isn't perfect, and that's where numismatic magic begins. Point one of the most dramatic stories starts with a silver planchet quarter, a rare leftover blank from earlier proof or commemorative runs. In 1974, some of those blanks got accidentally fed into circulation presses. The result, a quarter that looks like the others, but rings with the signature bell-like tone of older silver and weighs noticeably more. One such 1974 silver planchet quarter was authenticated by PCGS ISS, graded MS-67, and later sold at a small Philadelphia show for $52,000. The collector who found it says he heard the distinct chime when he dropped it into his pocket, a sound that changed his life instantly. Then there's the double die obverse, an error that occurs when the die itself is impressed twice with misalignment. On some 1974 quarters, the date, the word liberty, and even in God we trust appeared jaggedly doubled, like echoes frozen in metal. The first time one of these rare coins resurfaced, a Michigan coin dealer posted a photo online, and it spread like wildfire. Within days, the PCGS graded coin MS-66 sold for $38,000. Similar examples in higher grades have crossed $75,000. So how does a small misalignment on a die turn a mundane quarter into a high-ticket item? Imagine the automated press striking a planchet, then slightly shifting, then striking again. The result is a ghosted design, especially visible around numerals or letters. The rest of the minting run was perfect, so the doubled coins are extremely limited. Errors didn't stop at doubling. A handful of quarters were struck on the wrong planchet altogether, stomached with blanks meant for foreign coins or experimental production. One Philadelphia-bound quarter was struck on a 5 peso planchet leftover from a Latin American contract. Slightly thicker, a different alloy, same century, quite literally. That coin sold at a live Florida auction, $4.27. 500 off-center strikes add another cinematic twist. Imagine a quarter where the image drifts 15 to 20% off its center, making half the eagle vanish into metal. Collectors love coins that don't align, especially when all the detail remains crisp. A 1974 quarter with 20% off-centering, MS-67, recently fetched $18,200 online, surprising even seasoned veterans. What about mint mark anomalies? That same year, some Denver quarters carry the infamous repunch D. Workers hand-punched the mint mark into the die. One slip can leave a ghost echo. A high-grade 1974 DRPM graded PR66 was auctioned $4.14, 600. Then there's a lesser-known variety, transitional proof-like strikes. In 1974, the mint tested mirror-finish dies before the bicentennial redesign. A few quarter blanks accidentally received that mirror treatment and ended up in circulation. Such coins display a proof-like sheen, mirror fields with frosted details. One SP68 proof-like quarter sold for $22,500, hidden in a kid's pocket change. Each anomaly tells a story, a fleeting mistake in a perfect system, a glitch that became a treasure. But despite their rarity, these quarters aren't hidden in museums. They're in jars, drawers, and forgotten collections. Consider the tale of a Midwest retiree who found a silver-ringed quarter while paying at a grocery store. She felt the odd weight and color, suspected something, and submitted it for grading. It returned certified as the silver planchet variety, and later sold for enough to pay off her mortgage. Or the story of a college freshman who discovered a proof-like mirror quarter at her campus soda machine. It looked brand new, shimmering differently. She posted pictures to a coin group on Facebook, and 2 weeks later, it was part of a $22,000 sale. These world-shifting finds didn't take exotic machines or insider knowledge, just curiosity, attention, and a willingness to not accept everything at face value. So why should you care? Because everyday change could hold extraordinary surprises. That if you're watching this and you have 1974 Washington quarters, here's what you can do. First, listen. Tap individual quarters on a hard surface. Silver rings differently, small, bright, distinct. Cedar-clad coins have a dull thud. Second, look. Grab a 10x magnifier and scrutinize the obverse closely. Look at Liberty, the date, In God We Trust. Do the letters show ghosting or doubling? Even faint doubling is worth a deeper look. Third, weigh and measure. Normal clad quarters are 5.67 grams. A heavier quarter? Silver suspect. Off-center? Flaws on the edge or missing reading might tell the tale. Fourth, examine mint marks. Denver quarters with fuzzy or double Ds might be RPMs. Always photograph suspicious mint marks that if you find something odd, do not clean it. Cleaning can destroy toning and surfaces and drastically reduce value. Just protect it in a PVC-free flip. Fifth, send it for grading with PCGS or NGC. You might spend $20 or $30 up front, but grading is what gives your coin the pedigree collectors trust, because at their core, coins are time machines. A mint's fleeting mistake tells you about production challenges, historical pressures, or even economic trade-offs. And when someone notices, that error becomes a time capsule, a small object with outsized story and value. Remember, all coin collecting is a form of storytelling. A standard quarter tells you only about the mint's design that year. But a silver planchet, a proof-like sheen, a double die. They tell stories of accidents, abandoned blanks, human slips, and shifting times. And that's why 1974 Washington quarter, mass-produced, ordinary, overlooked, can become extraordinary. Because perfection is static. Mistakes are dynamic. And collectors pay premium for those moments of volatility. So here's your call to action. Empty your jars. Pull out every 1974 quarter you can find. Sort them, tap them, magnify them, weigh them, photograph them. You may just find a chime you weren't expecting, a ghost that shouldn't be there, a story worth holding. Don't just spend that pocket change. Listen, look, and let history reveal itself, one coin at a time. The 1992 Washington quarter, So ordinary it barely registers when you drop it into a vending machine, is hiding a stunning secret. Because sometimes common coins conceal rare errors, unusual planchets, or transitional oddities so extraordinary, they sell for thousands of dollars. And you might already be holding one. In 1992, America was in motion. The Cold War had ended, grunge was haunting the radios, and everyday heroes' bills were being signed. That year, the U.S. Mint struck over 700 million quarters across Philadelphia. No mint mark. Denver, D, and San Francisco, proof sets. These coins were meant for circulation. Mundane, utilitarian, forgettable. But in the march of metal, perfection slipped. And when it did, it spawned tiny treasures. Imagine the heat of a metal press. Coin blanks, planchets, racing through feeders. Dies clamping down hard and precise. It's a brutal, beautiful machine. But even the best systems falter. And falter they did in 1992. Take the silver planchet error. A few quarters were struck on silver planchets. Leftovers from commemorative or test runs. Those quarters look like copper-nickel-clad coins, but they sound silver when dropped, crisp, high-pitched, bright. One PG certified, 1992 silver quarter, graded MS-66, sold quietly through a collector forum for $18,200. The lucky finder? A coworker who noticed it had a ring. Then there's the off-metal foreign planchet error. Once, a quarter was struck on a wrong size, wrong weight blank meant for a Central American coin. At first glance, it looked small, thin, odd edge. But under light, the eagle was crisp, perfectly centered. It sold at auction for $14,500, and its owner still remembers the moment it caught their eye. Now consider the double die obverse, a die that received two impressions. It's a structural quirk that results in letter and date doubling. On a rare 1992 quarter, Liberty, In God We Trust, where the date appear with a ghost image. One such double die quarter in MS-67, complete with sharp doubling, was sold by a certified dealer for $22,800. These double dies aren't easy to detect. You need a magnifier, sharp eyes, and patience. But once you see that ghosted 92, you cannot unsee it. It becomes an echo, frozen in time. Errors didn't stop there. In 1992, a proof die was briefly tested before marching into full production. Some planchets accidentally got fed into circulation presses. These coins, known as improper proof-like, have lottery mirror surfaces, smooth, reflective, and surreal. One of these proof-like quarters, graded PR-68, sold for $16,400, quietly reserved in a collector's slab. Even mint marks can surprise. A handful of Denver quarters display sharply double D mint marks, ghost D shadowed slightly off to the side. These tiny mistakes often go unnoticed until powerful magnification reveals them. One high-grade 1992 DRPM repunched mint mark earned $9,200 in a recent sale. Finally, some quarters suffer feeding errors, offsetter strikes. A quarter where the obverse or reverse drifts 20 to 30%, slicing off parts of the design. A well-preserved offsetter 1992 quarter with full dates and mint mark fetched $11,700 recently. You might be asking, how does that happen? The mint is industrial perfection, yet speed and volume introduce risk. Transfer belts jam. Planchets misfile. Dies shift ever so slightly. And among a billion strikes, a few break the rules. That's the magic. Humdrum coins hiding miraculous anomalies. And these aren't museum pieces. They're found in jars, glove boxes, thrift bins, customers' handfuls of change. One collector tells the story. He was at a laundromat and caught a silver-ringed quarter under share light. He held on to it, submitted it, and walked away with more than $15,000 to another shared in an online group. He discovered a proof-like 1992 P quarter while counting groove funds at a nostalgia board game night. He didn't think much until he posted it and watchers gasped. These finds didn't require you to buy rolls from a bank or use x-ray machines. They required awareness. Oh, how can you spot one? First, tap it. Silver rings, clad thuds. A quick test, just don't damage the edge. Next, magnify the obverse. At 10 times, you can see doubling on letters, dates, mint marks. Those ghost images are fragile. Hold them in focus. Then weigh it casually. Standard quarters are 5.67 grams. Off even by half a gram? Something's up. Lighter or heavier coins. Keep them. Fourth, shine light across the surface. Is it mirror-like? Proof-like? If you twirl it and one side blinks, you might be holding a mintfall anomaly. Finally, check edges. Off-center? Missing reading? Unusual clay? Keep it. If all signs flicker, treat it carefully. PVC-free flips, soft gloves, no cleaning. Grading costs money, but certification is how collectors pay for what you've found. And it matters, because it's more than coin value. It's a story. It's a glitch in a massive machine. It's the human element preserved in metal. 1,000,000 identical coins, minted in a day, and one broke the mold. That's history in your hand. Your jar of quarters could be the next discovery. You might find treasure in time. So here's your call to action. Collect every 1992 Washington quarter you own. Check them. Feel them. Look for echoes, mirrors, rings. Look twice. Not for face value, but for history's whisper. Because sometimes the ordinary isn't ordinary at all. It's the doorway to a mystery, frozen in metal and time, and waiting for someone like you to notice that. Don't just spend your change. Listen to it. Look at it. And let history surprise you.